Karen 9 drifted in the shadow of a dead sun. Every light aboard the research station pulsed with quiet rhythm, its corridors humming softly with the sound of old machinery. For 2 centuries, the Dominion's archaeological corps had scoured the galaxy for remnants of lost civilizations. None mattered as much as this one, the myth of Earth. Captain Mira Solon leaned over the console, her 4 hands steady despite the tremor running through the floor. "What do you mean, it's repeating?" she asked, voice calm but sharp. The technician's tendrils flicked nervously. Well, it shouldn't be. The pattern's rhythmic, binary-based. But it's ancient. We've never seen anything like it. Binary, Mira whispered. Human code. A hush fell over the control room. Every officer turned to her, the name human hanging in the air like a forbidden word. The Dominion didn't discuss humans, not officially. Myths, monsters, rebels from history. She leaned closer. "Play it." Static crackled through the speakers. Then came a tone, steady, rising, then falling. 3 beats of silence. Then the machine spoke. "We are back." The words echoed through the chamber, cold and mechanical, yet carrying a strange warmth, like the echo of something alive. Mira felt her pulse race. "Run it again," she ordered. The technician hesitated. "Captain, that could be an audio hallucination. Crosswave interference, perhaps." "Run it again." The words repeated, unwavering. "We are back." The commander of communications, a gruff Farnak veteran, folded his arms. "Captain, Dominion law forbids unauthorized analysis of lost civilization signals. You know what happened to the FIRA team?" Myra's eyes didn't leave the waveform on the screen. "The FIRA team faked data. This is different. It's real. It's human." "Then you're gambling your career," he said. "Maybe your life." She smiled faintly. "If it's humanity, it's worth it." She keyed in a command, isolating the source. The computer traced the signal's origin, not from deep space, but from within the Sol system itself. More precisely, Earth's coordinates. Her breath caught. "That's impossible. Earth was vaporized in the Singularity Wars." "Or," she murmured, "it was hidden." Before she could speak again, her console blinked red. "Incoming transmission, encrypted, Dominion priority." She opened it reluctantly. "High Chancellor Draxel Vorn, cease all analysis of the Sol anomaly. File the data as stellar interference, and transmit your logs for erasure." Myra's jaw tightened. He knew. Somehow, he always knew. She muted the feed. "Pack the sensor logs. Encrypt under private key." The technician gawked. "Captain, that's treason." "Then let's hope I'm wrong," she said quietly. "Set course for Sol." The stars shifted as Karen 9's auxiliary ship, Dauntless, detached from its bay. Engines flared pale blue, cutting through the endless dark. Mira stood at the viewport, watching as they left the safety of Dominion space. The silence out there wasn't just empty, it was waiting. Hours later, as they approached the Sol boundary, the ship's AI pinged an incoming burst, encrypted in archaic Terran binary. Mira stared at the decoded message as it appeared on her display. To Captain Mira Solon. From unknown source. Welcome home. Her heart stopped. No one in the Dominion should know her name out here. The technician whispered, voice trembling. "Captain, who could have sent that?" Mira stared into the darkness, a chill spreading through her bones. "Humans," she said softly. "They're not gone. They've been watching." Outside the viewport, something shimmered near the black outline of Earth, like a curtain peeling back on the stars. And beneath the silence, a whisper of power stirred the void. "We are back." The void between worlds had a texture here, thick, restless, charged with something old. The Dauntless cut through that invisible fog, her hull whispering with static discharges as Sol's dead star loomed ahead. "Helm status?" Mira asked, her tone calm but every muscle locked in tension. "Power flux across all systems," Ensign Larrick replied, his feathered hands darting over glowing panels. "It's like space itself is resisting us." "Space doesn't resist," Mira murmured. Unless something's altering it. She stepped closer to the main viewport. The star that had once nurtured humanity glowed faintly red, stripped and wounded. But the strange thing wasn't the star, it was what surrounded it. A vast distortion shimmered in the dark, like a veil of light and glass, bending every photon that tried to pass through. Nothing, no scanners, no transmissions, could breach it. And beyond that distortion, her ship's AI kept whispering a single word. Earth. It was there. Hidden. Waiting. Captain, Larek said, voice sharp with alarm. Our long-range sensors just died. Entire spectrum blackout. Mira frowned. Blackout? That's not possible unless... Her words broke off as every console flickered, and for a heartbeat, the bridge filled with static. The crew's forms stuttered like holograms caught in interference. Then, through the static, a voice. Identify. The voice wasn't mechanical. It was human, calm, deep, and unmistakably alive. Larek swallowed hard. What was that? Mira stood tall. This is Captain Mira Solon of the Dominion Archaeological Corps, Vessel Dauntless. We come seeking. You are not of Earth. The voice interrupted. And yet you carry its code. Mira froze. She didn't know how to respond. The Dominion never told her parents where her lineage came from, only that she was genetically augmented for adaptability. Who are you? She demanded. A watcher, the voice said. And your escort. Hold course. Do not attempt to scan. The comms fell silent. Captain, her science officer whispered. This could be a trap. No life readings, no power signatures. Nothing in this system should still be functioning. Mira looked at the shimmering distortion and felt the hairs on her neck rise. That's exactly why we're going in. The Dauntless advanced. The veil rippled, parting soundlessly. And then they saw it. Earth. Not burned. Not shattered. Not gone. Floating in perfect silence, a blue-white world, gleaming as if untouched by time. But its orbit was wrapped in a lattice of light, a defense grid, faint but active. Thousands of dormant satellites encircled the planet like silver thorns. Each pulsed once as the ship approached. Those aren't Dominion-grade satellites, Larek said quietly. Power output unknown. Source unknown. Technology impossible. They're human, Mira said. Still functioning after millennia. A moment later, her sensor officer gasped. Captain, something's locking onto us. Shields up. A spear of white light lanced out from one of the satellites, freezing just meters from the ship's hull. The energy didn't strike, it simply held there, scanning, pulsing like a heartbeat. Then, in the comms feed, the same calm human voice. Stand down. You were expected. Expected? Larek repeated. Mira took a step forward. By whom? By the ones who never left. The voice faded. Then, as if in response, the holographic table flickered to life, displaying coordinates on Earth's surface. A location in the North American quadrant. Old texts called it Colorado. Captain, Larek said, Dominion Command will never authorize this. They've ordered us to destroy all human traces. She looked at the map. I'm not under their command anymore. He stared at her, stunned. You realize what you're saying? Mira turned toward the window. Earth filled the void, vast and quiet. If the legends are true, we owe humanity the truth. Dominion law be damned. Captain, the AI interjected suddenly. Incoming vessels, multiple contacts. Dominion transponders. Myra's blood ran cold. How many? 6 heavy cruisers, led by Tyrant-class flagship Vorn's Wrath. Her jaw tightened. Draxel. Orders from Dominion Fleet Command. The AI continued. All archaeological core assets are to be detained for questioning. Larek looked at her. He's coming for you, Captain. Within minutes, the stars behind them blazed white as the Dominion fleet exited slip space. Massive engines thundered through the void, their dark hulls blotting out the stars. Draxel's voice filled her comms, sharp, cold, imperial. Captain Solon, you have violated a direct order of the Dominion Council. Power down your vessel and prepare to be boarded. Mira didn't respond. If you resist, Draxel continued, you'll share the fate of your precious ghosts. Her hands curled into fists. Open comms, she said. Channel open. High Chancellor, she said evenly. You've been hiding something for centuries. Why suppress the truth? Why erase them? Because the truth is fear, Captain. Humanity destroyed worlds before they disappeared. They broke physics itself. You think the Dominion could rule if those monsters returned? Myra's voice dropped to a whisper. They're already here. The Dominion ships advanced, charging their weapons. Suddenly, every light aboard the Dauntless dimmed to black. Power loss! Larek shouted. All systems offline. Mira steadied herself as the ship drifted. It's not them, she murmured. It's Earth. Through the viewport, the defense satellites ignited, every one of them, forming a glowing ring of white fire around the planet. The distortion field shimmered violently, as if waking from a long sleep. One of the Dominion cruisers opened fire. The beam never reached its target, it simply vanished, swallowed mid-space like a spark into darkness. Then the stars themselves bent. A fleet appeared, sleek, obsidian vessels, silent and vast. No heat signatures. No energy trails. No emissions. Just shadows shaped like warships. The lead vessel transmitted a single message. Dominion vessels, stand down. You are trespassing on human territory. Draxel's voice cracked over the comms. Impossible! They're extinct. Mira smiled faintly. No, Chancellor. They were waiting. The nearest human ship moved without thrust, without sound, simply shifting across the void. A beam of invisible force struck Vorn's wrath. The flagship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist. Silence followed. Every Dominion ship powered down, their systems dead. Only Myra's voice broke the quiet. What now? No. The calm human voice replied through her ship's comms. You come home. The holographic map updated. The coordinates pulsed again, drawing her gaze toward Earth's surface. She nodded once. Set course. Larek hesitated. Captain, if we go down there, we'll finally have answers. The Dauntless angled toward the shimmering blue world below as the silent human fleet drifted around them like guardians of the past. Mira gripped the railing, heart pounding. The myths were real. Humanity was alive. And they had been waiting for this moment for a very, very long time. The descent into Earth's atmosphere should have rattled the Dauntless apart. The sensors screamed in confusion, no pressure readings, no thermal drag, nothing that made physical sense. Yet the ship glided smoothly, silent, as if escorted by invisible hands. Captain, said Larek, his voice thin. We've entered atmospheric range, but the readings are impossible. There's no ionization trail. No gravity turbulence. Mira stared at the planet below. Because this isn't atmosphere as we understand it. The blue-white clouds rippled beneath them like liquid glass. For a moment, she thought she saw shapes, cities, oceans, forests, but when she blinked, they dissolved into mist. Captain, the AI said, tone subdued, I am detecting layered quantum interference. Earth's surface is hidden beneath a multidimensional cloak. Myra's eyes narrowed. So they built a shield not to keep enemies out, but to keep time out. Before anyone could answer, a ripple passed through the air. The ship's hull vibrated with a sound like a heartbeat. Then a human voice, soft, measured, commanding, filled the bridge. Approach vector locked. Identify Captain Mira Solon for genetic verification. Mira froze. How do they know my... The console flared with light. Her DNA pattern appeared, scrolling across the hollow. Lines of ancient code shimmered within it, codes that shouldn't exist in Dominion biology. Verification complete, the voice said. Lineage confirmed, Homo sapiens derivative, Project Solon. Welcome home, Captain. Every officer turned toward her in stunned silence. Larek's crest flattened. Captain, you're one of them. Myra's throat tightened. No. I'm Dominion-born. The hologram changed. It projected a sequence of images, human scientists in sealed labs, splicing human DNA into alien embryos. Notes scrolled beside the footage: Preservation Directive 0, seed humanity within adaptive species. Myra's breath caught. The Dominion hadn't discovered humanity's remnants. It had been engineered by them. They didn't die, she whispered. They became part of us. A chime broke the silence. Incoming transmission, the AI said. The main screen flickered, and a face appeared, a human face, unmistakably. Older, lined but alive. His eyes burned like iron. Captain Mirasolin, he said. I am Admiral Jonas Hale, Terran Defense Network. You stand on the threshold of the Reclaimed Earth Initiative. Her mind reeled. You're human. Real. He gave a faint, humorless smile. Real enough. We watched your kind grow, fracture, and rebuild beneath our shadow. Dominion, Alliance, Federation, it was all noise. You were our experiment. Our hope. Hope for what? She asked. To see if the galaxy could mature without our intervention. It failed. The bridge crew exchanged horrified glances. Admiral Hale continued, his tone colder now. We withdrew because we'd learned to manipulate the fabric of reality itself. But the Dominion turned the galaxy into chains and hierarchies. You worshipped control. We worshipped progress. We watched for centuries, waiting for one spark to appear again. He leaned forward. That spark was you, Mirasolin. Her pulse thundered. Me? You carry our code. You broke protocol, defied orders, and sought truth. Those are human instincts. The Dominion fears them for a reason. Mira tried to steady her breathing. What do you want from me? Not obedience. Understanding. He turned away slightly, the image widening to show his surroundings. A vast command deck filled with silent operators, all human. Behind him, a window opened to space. Through it, Mira saw something vast, rows of colossal black ships orbiting Earth in perfect formation. The Ghost Fleet. They stretched for miles, each vessel smooth, angular, alive with faint energy veins. They weren't built, they grew. By every law of physics, Larek whispered. Those ships shouldn't even exist. They exist, Hale said, hearing him. Because humans stopped obeying physics. We shaped it. Myra's mouth went dry. Then why reveal yourselves now? The Admiral's eyes hardened. Because your Chancellor is moving against you. As if on cue, the ship's alarms wailed. Multiple slip space signatures incoming, the AI shouted. Dominion reinforcements. The bridge windows filled with streaks of light as dozens of Dominion cruisers emerged from fold space, forming a massive blockade above Earth. Admiral Hale to all human assets, defensive posture only. No lethal strikes unless fired upon. Myra's eyes widened. You can't fight them all. Watch. The Ghost Fleet moved. No acceleration. No thrust. They simply slid across the void as if stepping through layers of reality. The Dominion ships opened fire, beams of searing plasma cutting through space. But the shots passed through the human vessels like light through fog. Then, one pulse. No flash, no noise. Just stillness. The Dominion lead ship fractured silently into dust, its molecular bonds unraveled. The rest froze, their reactors dying one by one. Within 30 seconds, the entire fleet was dead in space. Merciful stars! Larek breathed. Admiral Hale's expression didn't change. We warned them. We offered restraint. They chose arrogance. Mira turned toward him, half in awe, half in fear. You've created weapons that can erase fleets without firing. You've become gods. Hale's voice softened. No. We became accountable. For centuries, we stayed silent because we believed the galaxy would evolve without us. It didn't. Power always consumes itself. He looked straight at her. We need a bridge between what humanity was and what the galaxy became. You are that bridge. Captain? Larek's voice broke through. Boarding signatures, Dominion agents. They've teleported aboard. Armed soldiers in obsidian armor materialized on the bridge, weapons raised. Their leader's visor shimmered as he barked. By order of Chancellor Draxel Vorn, you are under arrest for treason against the Dominion. Mira didn't flinch. You're too late. The lead soldier sneered. This ends now, Captain. Before he could fire, the air around him warped. A faint shimmer, then silence. Every Dominion trooper froze mid-motion, suspended like statues. Admiral Hale's voice filled the bridge. We control the environment around your ship. No harm will come to you. Mira exhaled shakily. I didn't ask for this power. No one does, Hale replied. But someone has to carry it. The soldiers dissolved into mist, erased from existence as if time itself rewound. The Dauntless trembled. Hale's hologram steadied. Chancellor Vorn will not stop. He fears extinction more than truth. When he comes, humanity will answer him. But before that, you will come to Earth. There is much to learn. Mira swallowed hard. And if I refuse? Then you'll never know what you are. Outside the viewport, the ghost fleet drifted aside, forming a corridor of light that led straight toward the blue planet below. Set course, Mira ordered quietly. Larek hesitated. Captain, are we sure we want to meet the gods of our creation? She smiled faintly. If they made us, we deserve to know why. As the Dauntless entered the illuminated corridor, Mira looked down at her trembling hands, hands that now felt heavier, older, human. Earth grew larger with every passing second. And somewhere beneath those clouds, the truth waited, ancient, patient, and very much alive. The command bridge of the Erebus Ascendant was silent except for the hum of the ship's core, a sound older than most of the stars in this quadrant. Admiral Aisha Rourke stood before the main viewport, arms folded, eyes locked on the holographic projection of the enemy armada. Hundreds of alien ships, sleek, insectal, shimmering with gravitic armor, formed a blockade around the ruined world of Dreth. But what they hadn't noticed yet was that Earth's fleet had arrived inside their perimeter. Stealth field holding at 94%, reported Lieutenant Calder, his voice low, reverent. They don't even know we're breathing their airspace. Good, Aisha said, tone cold, sharp. Let them think we're ghosts. It wasn't just bravado. For 3 centuries, humanity had vanished. Their colonies gone dark, their fleets erased from stellar registries, their homeworld untraceable. The galaxy had moved on, and in its arrogance, forgotten what human silence meant. Until today. The moment Aisha's fleet decloaked, the stars themselves seemed to recoil. A deep tremor ran through the deck as the Erebus Ascendant's reactors flared to full capacity. Blue-white light spilled through the bridge glass as one of Earth's experimental weapons, the Chrono-Disruptor Array, came online for the first time in history. Target grid coordinates confirmed, Calder said, sweat beating down his temple. Ready to initiate temporal breach. Commander Venn, the alien defector who joined them months earlier, looked uneasy. His tendrils flicked back nervously. You, humans built a weapon that bends time? That's what we do when people burn our worlds, Aisha interrupted. Her voice was calm, but her eyes glimmered like a knife edge. You wanted to know where humanity went? We went beyond. Then swallowed hard. And now you've come back. No, she said. We collect our due. The tactical hologram shifted as the alien admiral's fleet moved, a formation meant to trap the humans in a pincer. They didn't know they were hunting a shadow older than their empires. Admiral Rourke, said Dr. Halvorson from the science deck, we're detecting massive subspace ripples from their command vessel. Looks like they're charging their main weapon. Let them, Aisha replied. Activate return protocol. The crew hesitated. Every human on that bridge had trained for this moment, but few truly believed they'd live to see it. The return protocol was Earth's legacy, a forbidden command from the ancient Terran Defense Directive. A single order to awaken the hidden power that had slept beneath every human-built warship since the Great Exodus. Return protocol confirmed. The ship's AI intoned, its voice layered with dozens of human accents, old and new, male and female, blended into one. Humanity's beacon reactivating. In orbit, the Erebus home markings began to glow, revealing the symbol that had vanished from galactic maps long ago, a stylized Earth encircled by wings of flame. The enemy ships began to panic. "Admiral!" Then cried, watching the sensors spike. "They've detected the activation! Their fleet is scattering!" "They should," Aisha said. "They just woke up a civilization they buried." Out beyond the enemy blockade, the stars flickered. And then, they answered. Signals, long dormant, began lighting up across the galaxy. Automated beacons, hidden deep within nebular storms and asteroid belts, pulsed to life. Across 1,000 systems, voices once thought lost began whispering across the void. "This is Terran Outpost Helios. Signal received. Confirming humanity's return. Archive Node 9 online. Rebuilding contact relays. Project Horizon Awakening." Every hidden remnant of humanity, sleepers, vaults, colonies in stasis, came alive. The galaxy had forgotten humanity's reach, its persistence. The stars themselves seemed to tremble as the forgotten empire stirred. "Admiral," said Halvorsen awed, "the old network, it's answering us. All of it." Aisha smiled faintly. "Good. Let them remember who we are." She turned toward her officers. "Prepare strike formation. Engage on my mark." "Engage?" Then asked. "Against a fleet that size? You're outnumbered." "Not for long," Aisha interrupted. "Listen." And then it began. Warp echoes thundered across the black. One by one, blue-white fissures opened like cracks in reality. Out of each breach, human ships emerged, carriers, destroyers, dreadnoughts bearing the insignia of Earth's forgotten colonies. Luna Vanguard. Europa's Wrath. Titan Ascendant. Each ship was older than most empires still standing. "Fleet identification codes, all human," Calder whispered. "My God, we're not alone!" The bridge erupted in cheers, disbelief, tears. After centuries of silence, the children of Earth had come home. On the alien command ship, Admiral Aisha watched in horror as thousands of human signatures filled his sensors. His claws dug into the console. "This cannot be possible! They were extinct!" His communications officer trembled. "Sir, the human flagship is transmitting. Put it through." Aisha's face appeared on the screen, calm, deadly. Behind her, Earth's insignia burned like a rising sun. "Admiral Aisha," she said softly, "you trespassed on a graveyard. You awakened something that never truly died." Aisha's frills quivered. "What are you?" Aisha leaned closer, voice low as thunder. "Humanity. Returned." Then she cut the transmission and gave a single word. "Fire." The Erebus Ascendant unleashed its fury. The chrono disruptor fired a beam of condensed temporal energy that folded spacetime across the enemy fleet. Ships aged 1,000 years in seconds. Hulls corroded. Power cores turned to dust. The blockade dissolved under the weight of centuries. Every alien sensor lit up in terror. In minutes, the war was over. Silence fell again, not the silence of extinction, but of fear. "Target field cleared," Calder reported, voice shaking. "They're retreating. All of them." Aisha nodded. "Transmit the signal." "To whom?" "To everyone." The broadcast echoed through every star network still alive. "This is Admiral Aisha Rourke of the Terran Directorate. Earth has returned. To those who remember us, we come in strength. To those who wronged us, pray your gods still listen. Humanity remembers everything." The galaxy had thought the age of humanity was over. Now, it was just beginning again. And as the first human sunships burned across the void, the stars, for the first time in centuries, whispered one name in awe and fear. Terrans. The galaxy was never silent again after that day. But what broke the quiet wasn't the roar of war. It was a human voice. Admiral Aisha Rourke stood on the bridge of the Erebus Ascendant, surrounded by the flickering holographic feeds of half the galaxy. Every major power, every system, every empire that had survived the long centuries now watched her through the secure, ancient network Earth had just reactivated. The broadcast carried not just her voice, but the echo of something older. A promise humanity had made 1,000 years ago. "Connection stable," said Dr. Halvorsen, still shaken. "All channels open." Aisha straightened her coat. She had worn her uniform only once before, when Earth fell. She drew a steady breath. "Begin transmission." Across the galaxy, the signal spread. It crossed voids where light had not traveled in eons. It woke forgotten satellites orbiting dead worlds. It echoed in the ruins of the colonies humanity had once built. And then, through speakers, screens, implants, and neural relays, a voice spoke. Soft. Human. Calm. "This is Admiral Aisha Rourke of the Terran Directorate. To all civilizations receiving this, we are not a myth. We were never gone. We were watching." Every alien council chamber fell silent. Commanders froze. Rulers leaned forward, their hearts cold with the realization of what that meant. On Dreth, the planet that had once been enslaved under the Dominion, the freed colonists looked up at the skies. The horizon still glowed faintly where the human fleet had unleashed its fury. Children born under alien chains stared in wonder as the first Terran dropships descended, carrying relief supplies instead of weapons. For them, humanity's return wasn't a legend, it was deliverance. Meanwhile, on the bridge, Ven, the alien defector, stood quietly beside Aisha. His eyes gleamed with something between fear and awe. "You could have destroyed them all," he said softly. "You had the firepower to burn the whole quadrant clean. But you didn't." Aisha didn't look at him. "We're not here for revenge." "Then why return now?" She finally turned to face him. "Because silence was never meant to last. Humanity sleeps, but it always wakes stronger. We built peace once. Now we'll build it again, on our own terms." The alien fleets that had survived the battle sent messages, some threats, some pleas. A council of the major powers convened in orbit around the neutral world of Salas Prime. They expected a delegation of human ships, perhaps diplomats, maybe even conquerors. What they got was one vessel, the Erebus Ascendant. When it arrived, the meeting chamber shook as its shadow eclipsed the sun. The alien envoys stared as a woman stepped onto the surface. No guards, no escort. Just her and the emblem of Earth on her uniform. The High Envoy of the Orion Compact spoke first, his tone brittle. "You return after centuries, destroy half a fleet, and then talk peace? What do you really want?" Aisha met his gaze. "Recognition." "Recognition of what?" "That we're not prey. That we're not gone. That this galaxy exists because we built roads through the dark when no one else would. And we're taking them back." The envoys exchanged uneasy looks. The Jarek's warlord hissed. "And if we refuse?" Aisha's expression hardened. "Then history repeats, and you'll learn again what happens when humanity stops being polite." A long, tense silence followed. Then, from the far end of the chamber, the youngest envoy, a frail scholar from a minor world, stood. "My ancestors spoke of humans," he said softly. "They said you were both monsters and saviors. That you built wonders and burned tyrants in the same breath. Tell me, Admiral, which one are you now?" Aisha smiled, a slow, cold, proud smile. "We're both. That's what makes us human." The chamber trembled with murmurs. Outside, the fleet repositioned. Thousands of Terran ships moved in perfect unison, like living constellations. Some would rebuild lost colonies. Others would patrol trade routes. All of them bore the same insignia, the mark of a species that had once been hunted, now reborn as the galaxy's stabilizing storm. Halvorsen's voice came through her earpiece. "Ma'am, message traffic's exploding. We're being flooded with requests, alliances, trade offers, technology exchanges." "Good," Aisha said. "We'll respond when we're ready." Not before. And if they attack again? Then, she said, looking up at the stars, they'll find out that silence wasn't our weakness. It was our reload time. The Erebus Ascendant drifted past the Council station, its engines glowing like blue fire. Below, thousands watched from the surface, their first glimpse of a human ship since history itself had gone dark. As it passed, one of the surviving Dominion officers whispered to his comrade, voice trembling, "They vanished for centuries, and now they're gods." The other shook his head. "No. Gods demand worship. Humans demand progress." Hours later, as the fleet prepared to depart, Aisha stood alone in her quarters. On her desk sat a small, cracked hollow image, Earth, green and blue, as it once was. She pressed a finger against the surface, and the hologram shimmered to life. Cities, oceans, the faint hum of life. A tear traced down her cheek. "Home," she whispered. "We're coming home." The broadcast that followed would be remembered for millennia. It was short, direct, and very human. To all species of the stars. You've lived without us. You've fought among yourselves. You've forgotten the ones who showed you how to walk between worlds. We remember every promise we made. Every friend we lost. Every betrayal we endured. This is humanity's return. We do not conquer. We endure. And if you stand against us, remember, we've already survived the end of everything once before. In every corner of the galaxy, species looked to the sky and saw the same thing. A human signal burning across the stars, forming the shape of an ancient Earth symbol, a blue circle surrounded by fire. It wasn't a declaration of war. It was a heartbeat. From that day on, the galaxy changed. Trade routes reopened. Tyrants hesitated. Pirates fled. Because they all knew one truth whispered in every language. The Terrans are back. And somewhere, beyond the rim of known space, a child looked up at the night sky and saw a faint blue star flicker where none had been before. He didn't know its name, but he felt it in his bones. It was the sound of home returning. End of story. Ring Planet at Starbound, we tell stories the human way, not with artificial voices or hollow echoes. In the end, what's HFY without humanity? Subscribe to the Void Narratives, where every star has a human heartbeat.